The following is a production of CPRundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the host of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Huth.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. All right, and we're back. It was probably 2 weeks since we recorded last? Something like that?
I think
2
so.
weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks exactly. We're keeping to our 2 week minimum or so.
We hit the quota.
Hitting the quota
right.
for sure. I think we're definitely gonna hit the quota for sure this month. What
feeling pretty good about it.
we've got planned, which is gonna be pretty cool.
And next month we'll have my Orlando preview show and then my Orlando wrap-up show. So there's two right there. Boom.
Yeah, for
Good to
Evan
go.
that's never ever been to any Orlando parks. You've been
I
on
have.
how many coasters?
I've been on
Ish.
370 something.
And you've been all over the world. Been to California,
Literally all over.
all over everything. So
Yeah. And I literally have Universal Studios tickets on my phone, and it's kind of crazy. I'm kind of getting jittery. Like, holy crap.
It's definitely hitting those parks and everything is when I remember when I first went 6 years ago, I think, for my first time, but just trying to figure out, it's nice that you know me and Kyle and things like that, kind of like that. But when I went, and when Kyle and Sierra and I went,
Whoa.
we had no idea. We were like, wait, what? You need a ticket for Universal? We need a ticket for Islands of Adventure? And we just didn't know the whole scheme of things. But now we're pretty
And they're pretty crazy parks to navigate.
novels.
Yeah,
Right.
I was
right.
in the same boat. I went the summer that Diagon Alley opened. That was my first time. So I've
God.
learned everything since then.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, when we went, you had to wait in a queue to get inside the land. It was crazy.
You
I
should.
remember reading
You
about
probably
that when it
should still
opened.
wait inside a queue to get in that land. Sometimes it's a little bumper to bumper.
Hey, we were there last Sunday, and it was pretty nice.
Well, I'm going to be up there on a holiday weekend, so
Yeah,
That's all right. You'll
I'll
have a
just
good time.
if anybody wants to send me $500 for Universal Express Pass, I will take it.
I will see you in person. I will give you the CP Run on credit card. We've paid
Yep.
it off, so
Oh, so we have a new credit line?
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be, I think, the first time ever. I mean, not ever, because, we went to Cedar Point together, but the first time in a long time that we will all three be in the same location at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I think all doing different things, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
You know what? Maybe one day we'll have a little get together of all of us, and then
Yeah.
maybe by next podcast we might have something and say, hey, if you're in the Florida area, come meet us
We'll
for
go
a
to-
ride or something.
We'll go to Fun Spot one night and
Yeah,
drink the
that's kinda what
$2
I'm betting
beer.
on.
That would be fun. I would be down. We could ride the giant one that you're wanting to ride, the Ripcord.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Because I've never ridden it, and I'm scared to death of it because I saw something
were
that
afraid of
happened
the
on
one?
it. But yeah, we'll leave that
You
for
were
another
afraid
day.
of You were afraid of the one at Cedar Point, so
Anyway, so we got a little bit, very, very, very little bit of news this week. We've got news from Tony off of his Twitter page. Said that the winter chill out drawing, the lottery and everything that everybody put in for, is going to be happening by the 27th, which is Friday. So everybody who put in for the lottery will find out if they're either going to winter chill out on either Saturday or Sunday, or they're not going to winter chill out at all, which will kind of be sad. So,
I have a funny feeling everybody's going to get to go.
I hope so. I'll be sad if I can't go, or because we've been. I mean, not to brag or anything, but I've been to that event ever since it was even
First
before
put
Cedar,
on.
right? Even before Cedar Point put it on.
When it was a
put
Point
on by
Buzz.
Point Buzz, yeah. And that was a fun time. I liked those because we got to go behind the scenes with Magnum. We got to go
Ooh.
we didn't go crazy behind the scenes. We got to go inside the actual fenced in area and take pictures right next to the lift hill,
Something.
which was cool. And then
I
also
really
we
want
got
to do the Gemini in
Yeah, I
field.
was saying,
They did that 1 year, and I wasn't there that year.
Yep, we got to do the Gemini infield and take pictures in front of the last turn. I don't know what that is exactly, but we got to take pictures like with our heads.
Yeah, I think that was
the Helix.
in 2017.
Is it the Helix? Yeah.
I think that was in 2017. I think.
But yeah, so I mean, I've got, and I even have like the cool. It says Point Buzz on it with the winter chill out and the shirts and stuff. Evan, I think you've worn that a few times. No, maybe not.
No,
maybe something else. But yeah. So anyway,
my first
so
was 2014, and that was the first one hosted by the park.
So look for information on that, and then also we just got a quick tease today actually from Cedar Point, showing off Wild Mouse and also the Grand Pavilion, and kind of showing off a little bit of pictures. I was last weekend. I was at No Coaster Con for Ace, and Tony was talking about how the inside of the restaurant of the Grand Pavilion is going to look, and he said they haven't released any pictures or anything because it's very nostalgic. So that's all he said about it. So I can't wait to see what they have planned and what it's going to look like on the inside, because there's been no renderings for it on the inside, and there's been no pictures of
that
construction.
sounds like a
inside.
winter chill out announcement.
So there could be, yeah. So hopefully we'll get like a tour inside if we're able to go to winter chill out and maybe see what's going on. So you know,
for sure.
But yeah, so but that's all the news I've got.
Yep.
All right, well, let's roll into it. So, since we knew that we weren't going to have anything to talk about this week, we
literally anything.
We asked our listeners for questions on Facebook, and we got 6 responses, 6 questions we have to answer.
We did.
I think what we'll do is I'll be kind of the facilitator here. I'll read them, and we'll each answer every question.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's kick it off. We have a question from friend of the show, Dean, who is sleeping in the other room over there because we're roommates. But he would say, I'd like to know your favorite meal that you've eaten at a park, preferably quick service location, not a full sit-down restaurant.
So not necessarily Cedar Point, any park.
He doesn't specify. He says, I would like to know your favorite meal that you've eaten at a park. It can be any park.
I got to think about that for a minute. Even though I was reading these questions all week and could have prepped my answer.
I can go first.
Right.
I would say, honestly, I'm going to say Farmhouse. I was going to say that just because it was nice. Like halfway through the year, they changed it from like those metal tins that you really couldn't take away from Farmhouse to where they had like the pie tins, kind of where you could take pretty much take it to go and you can eat it wherever. So I took some of that and went over to the air conditioned area where Miss Keats was and had a nice air conditioned meal with Kyle and Sierra, and they had the burrito bowl and yeah, so that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking that first, but I figured I talked enough about the steak all season on here. So I think my favorite park meals probably got to be when I was over in Energylandia in Poland. Had homemade pierogies, cucumber salad, and green beans in a park. Homemade. Wow. It was so good. Definitely.
It's funny you say pierogies, because I was gonna say, Evan, if you couldn't think of one, I was gonna say, what about Knoebels and their pierogies?
Oh, those are good too. See, but so the pierogies I had at Energylandia, they're meat filled. That's more typical of that area of Poland. And it's super, super good. But it's like, think of it as like Polish pot stickers. Like it's that style. Now the ones at Knoebels, those are, as I say, crappy American pierogies or Russian pierogies. They're just potato and cheese and a lot of butter.
I mean,
they're so good though.
I'm a hoe for that. So any pierogi, it doesn't matter. I'll see it in the store and be like, oh, there's bacon stuff and blah 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 with whatever. Yes, please.
Yeah. The loaded Mrs. T's loaded baked potato pierogies. Those are so good.
I was gonna say also, I'm gonna keep adding on just a little bit. I was gonna say another one would be the gyro you can get at Islands of Adventure. You can get like an actual gyro. That's actually really good. But yeah, I think I think that's about it. I'm
We'll,
sure
we'll
I've
talk
got
more
a
about
ton more.
Universal food in our
Yeah,
my Orlando preview episode.
yeah, definitely. Kyle?
I've had some really good food at the Orlando area parks, but for some reason, I can't remember the specifics of them, but there is one in my mind, and it was at Knott's Berry Farm. The first time I went, it was in, I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but it was in the Fiesta Village area of the park, and I had like tamales and Mexican street corn and like rice. It was
Street
so
corn
good.
is so good.
Yeah, it was so good.
So good. That's
Another quick add-on, really quick. I was going to say, if you're at Kings Island, what's that place that does grilled cheeses?
Tom and
Chi.
Yeah.
Tom and Cheese, really good. That's you can get a real quick. It's on the meal plan, and you can get like that, and then you can also get like a thing of chips and stuff, and go about your way.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I want to try that Mexican food at Knott's now.
Well, now I'm getting hungry. So
I'm glad we got at least one Cedar Fair answer in there.
love it. What's our?
Being that we're Cedar Fair Park.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's see. Our next question looks like it comes from your girlfriend.
Yeah, she put 2 in there.
Oh, okay. There's all right. So 2 of them. So it says, if we could visit one Cedar Fair park for the rest of your life, which one would it be and why?
All right. Well, being that it's my girlfriend, I think I'll answer that one. I gotta say Cedar Point, just because I grew up there. I think Kings Island's my favorite Cedar Fair park, but I grew up at Cedar Point. You know?
I was gonna say I was gonna say Cedar Point too, just because of the variety of coasters and just everything's like the way that everything's all spaced out and how it's just like in like that circle kind of thing, and it's very.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased, and maybe.
Yeah, I feel like there's some here. Let's say, unless Kyle's answer is not Cedar Point, let's say like
mine's not.
All right. I'm just gonna say aside from Cedar Point, because I feel like I just can't go against Cedar Point. I would say Kings Island, if not Cedar Point.
Well, mine would be the same answer. So this is.
Well, great minds think alike, Carson.
Kyle, what's yours?
I would also say Kings Island, just because they have a really solid like top tier of rides, but their supporting cast is also really good too.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome food options, great entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the, I've said it before, but it is one of the most well-rounded amusement parks in the country.
And if we only visited Cedar Point for the rest of our lives, we couldn't go to Coaster Stock.
That too, and that's the best event.
That's actually something to legitimately consider.
But if we're thinking about this a little more deeper, what about if we, if it's for the rest of our lives, who says that we're able to go anywhere else? So that if we're stuck at the park for the rest of our lives, at least at Cedar Point, we're able to fish,
And there's hotels on property.
Yeah, right. I mean,
We have a bed,
think about that. Like, you gotta
We're not allowed to leave the park at all.
Just a real thing. Like, honestly, like if you think about it, there's not a whole lot of like actual amusement parks or whatever that have hotels literally like on the doorstep. Like you could literally stay at Hotel Breakers, and you literally could stay like within 500 feet to 1,000 feet and just literally go like right to your room, and then the next day you're like right back there and stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like whenever
Cedar
I'm
Point
looking
is the most functional for living.
yeah. So I mean, maybe Carowinds because they just built that new.
Yeah,
that new
I think
Homewood-
Knott's has a
Homewood
hotel
suite.
like that.
And then
too.
maybe Knott's, but I mean, I've never been to Knott's, so.
Yeah, I need to get out there.
This summer I will. But all right. So next question from Maya is: can you explain the ideal day at Cedar? What an ideal day at Cedar Point is like? Evan.
Oh, I got to go first again.
Yeah.
That's not fair. I'm not ready for it. Definitely open to close.
We could. How about we
lines.
just tag team off of each other. So you say open to close, which I agree with.
Yep,
I
open to
think
close.
you also need to like plan like for the day, like beforehand. Like you can
Have some goals in mind.
Yeah, like you'll be like, okay, well, I definitely want to hit Steel Vengeance, and like I remember when Top Thrill Dragster was open, we would first be like, okay, as soon as we see that thing go, we're like, literally, I don't care what we're doing, we're hightailing it to that ride, because it would always have it would always be up and down
those
like
days.
crazy.
Yep.
So you would never be guaranteed. So something like that, probably not eat like when specific times in the park, like like a normal meal time, like offset your meal times, I would say. Like if everybody eats at like 1 p.m. or something, maybe you want to stage it off to like 2 or 2:30 or something. That way you're not going to have a lot of crowd to wait in line for food and stuff like that.
Yeah. I would say too, like some of the best days I've had at Cedar Point are like obviously we get on a ton of coasters, but we get in a lot of flat rides too. Like even just like the Scrambler or Tiki Twirl, like rides that people don't think about. Sometimes those are like the best days I've had at the park when we get a ton of those rides in. And of course we get to ride Millennium and Vengeance too, but screwing around on the family rides too, that's always a lot of fun.
And then also go along with planning your day. What ride do you want to ride at night? Because some of the rides are really like Millennium Force. I think is way better at night than during the day. That's my opinion.
The best night ride in the park.
But
besides maybe Magnum.
Magnum. Oh, that's
Steel
a good one. Steel Vengeance is good at night too. But I think Millennium for sure is like just It's like it's a flip flop between like night and day. Kyle, do you have anything?
Yeah. So my ideal day starts pretty close to open. Maybe not like exactly to open, but pretty close. I'm not super like go. I gotta hit every single ride. I'm more of a go with the flow and do what's available. I stay in the park until around like 1 or 2, like right at the hottest part of the day, and then I don't go to the water park. I go to the beach.
Ooh.
Okay.
Kill some time at the beach.
I haven't utilized the beach enough in my life.
Well, maybe now with the Grand Pavilion, you might.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Kyle, after the beach, how long you stay on the beach?
The rest of the day.
No, you don't stay on the beach the rest of the day. So, like, if I go out there like 1 or 2, come off at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. Like, you just need to be out there for the hottest part of those summer days. And then go back in. That's normally when I would eat. And then once it gets cooler out, that's when you can start banging out a lot of the rides. Especially, it helps if there is a show like Luminosity or Celebrate 150 going on, because then normally after the show, the park clears out. Yeah,
I was going to say something very similar with that. I think let's assume a midnight close, and Celebrate 150 or Celebrate Cedar Point, whatever they're calling it. That was always at 10 o'clock, right, or 9:30. So with the midnight close, we go watch that show. We've all really enjoyed that show.
Yep.
And then go get, we talked Millennium, Magnum, and Vengeance are all great night rides. Well, let's just go ride all 3 of them in the remaining 2 hours of the night.
And that's exactly what.
And get a meal in those last 2 hours.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you could also get a meal. You can get your meal while you watch the show, because then you're doing 2. But
you got to catch a T-shirt. That's part of my best day. My CP best day is catching a T-shirt.
That is true. That is true.
Come on.
You don't get the shirt, then you're failing at life.
And I also happen to walk by one of the show stops of the parade. That's always nice, Maybe not like seek it out, but it's nice if we just get off a Raptor and the shows and the parade's right here,
I think if it's
that's part of the best day too.
I think if it's like a super, super hot day, definitely go for indoor show, because the AC is always like piping cold, like crazy. Or like I said, Miss Keats, like you could go grab your burrito bowl or something, and Miss Keats has a bunch of old classic signs all over the walls.
I love looking at those.
And then it's like
Easter eggs
cold in there.
Yeah.
So, and then
I
obviously finish it off for like
park too.
The what?
I also got to agree with going to the beach or the water park for a couple hours in the middle of the day.
Yeah, for sure. And jumping off of what Kyle said, you could definitely, just knock out I'd say at least 3 or 4 of those coasters, just because they're real close together, and then the crowd does leave after
Big time.
the
Big time.
the big stage and everything, because they see fireworks and they're like, okay, let's go home.
I mean,
so
me and a friend of the show, Jared, we used to, when Luminosity was a thing and the parks were open until midnight and Luminosity was at 9, there were nights where he would call me at like 9:30. He'd be like, hey, you want to go to the park for an hour? We'd rip up there, and we would get like 7 coasters done in that last hour.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
definitely doable,
Especially like a middle of the week type thing.
and visiting
necessarily
when
on a weekend,
it
but-
helps, like when schools are in session, like in Ohio and stuff, because then people
Yeah.
go home,
But then the park's only open till 8
true
typically.
but yeah.
I was gonna mention too, and boy, we're really packing our day in. But I only did this once. But during my birthday weekend last year, we were in the park on Saturday for half the day or whatever, and then for dinner we went over to the hibachi place in Breakers, and that was a ton of fun. So I think that's part of my like perfect day at Cedar Point,
Okay.
because that place was really really good.
Nice. I think that's probably the rest of our days. I think those were some
Yeah,
good
we
tips,
really
though, for
packed
someone.
in a day here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Good
I think
question.
if anything, we threw some suggestions out there for people planning.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe go sit on the beach for a couple hours. Oh, the hibachi place is good. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And if you're if the lines are busy and you just want to like walk around and stuff, walk around Hotel Breakers. That's
Yeah. Some good AC in there too.
some good AC for sure.
Good questions, Maya.
All right. Next up is from our friend Tyler. So he asks, I believe you talked about on one of the podcasts you guys worked at Cedar Point. Can you share any fun stories while working in the park? I was also wondering what kind of employee perks you have. So I can kind of take the reins on this one if you guys want. So, little background. I worked for Halloween Weekends as a seasonal scarer in 2018, 2019, and then I took 2020 off because that's when COVID happened.
Because you were forced to.
And we're forced to. So 2018 and 19, I worked at the park seasonally. 2021, I'm not going to get into the exact specifics of my role, but if you've listened to the show before, you know I worked the entire summer, and I worked in a professional office environment. And so yeah, I worked in one of the Cedar Point offices, doing stuff like that. So one of my this is my funny story, and then I'll get into perks. One of my job responsibilities every night was before the parade, I would go out on the midway and I would pick 4 people to be a grand marshal in the parade.
And what's a
And-
grand marshal?
The grand marshal were the
Because
people,
I didn't know when this started. So
Yeah. Grand marshals were the people that would ride in the pedicabs in the parade. They would put the t-shirts on, they'd get like streamers and stuff to throw around and pretty much just have a good time.
And that we did, right, Carson?
Yeah.
We sure
So
did.
that's actually my funny story. So
Oh,
normally
okay, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So how I was supposed to pick my group of people was ideally a group of 4 with kids or younger people or older people. I mean, we didn't really discriminate by age, but ideally a group of 4. And I would walk around. I'd walk out of my office every night, and my office was over by Scrambler. I'd walk out of my office, usually make a lap through Kitty Kingdom or Planet Snoopy, and normally I'd find somebody. And if not, I would, just kind of run around until I found somebody. And once I did find people, I was to walk them to the front of the park to the 150th sign where Live E would pick them up and then take them and start the parade. So, I mentioned that I was supposed to pick a group of 4 people. Well, one night I found a group of 2 people that absolutely, there was nothing they wanted more that day than to be the Grand Marshal. So I didn't tell them no, but I said, all right, I'm going to try my hardest to find 2 more people. And if I can't find 2, but I find a group of 4, I'm sorry, but I'm going to pick the group of 4 because we need 4 people in it. Like, that's part of the deal.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, we understand that. It was a mom and I think it was a little girl. You guys probably know because you rode in the parade with them. But
It was an older couple.
is that what it was? Was it an older couple?
Yeah, it was an older couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were
And-
super nice too. They were awesome.
Okay, so anyway, it was the older couple, and they, yeah, we understand. So they followed me around, and at this point, it's like 5 minutes till I need to have my people to the front of the park, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to find a group of 2, Because normally the problem with a group of 2 is one of them wants to do it and the other doesn't. Whereas a group of 4, it's normally a mom, dad, 2 kids, grandma, 2 kids, whatever, and like everybody's into it. So I happened to see Karsten and Evan walking near Max Air.
We
Yeah.
just gotten off a Gatekeeper.
Yeah,
I
you
remember
guys
very
have just gotten off
distinctly.
a Gatekeeper. And I pulled you over real close. I'm like, hey, I need a favor. Be in the parade. Be the Grand Marshals. Like, you got to do me a solid here. This couple right here, they really want to do it. And I know you guys probably want to do it too. Now's your chance. Go jump in the parade if you want to be in it. And then,
And we're like, yeah.
yeah. And then
Can
you
I
did.
just say I had absolutely no idea this was a thing. I was like, wait, what? You pick who?
I
And,
remember you were like, what? What are you talking about?
and then all of a sudden you like said we're going to be in parade, and then we started jumping up like we're like 5.
Yeah, that was
Um,
awesome.
Yeah, so that was my funny story. And I know you guys might have some too, but let me just roll into perks real quick. As far as employee perks, you get employee ride nights. You get associate fun nights where like the HR team will put on like little events to do either after the park closes or while the park's open.
Maybe we have like food and
Yeah, like
Music and-
lunches or movie nights or whatever, stuff like that. Bus trips are a thing you can do where you get picked up at housing and then you just go to like New York City or a lot of other Cedar Fair parks.
Which
Yeah.
is also really cheap too. You pay like $50 or $60. They take like a giant charter bus and on your way.
Yeah.
yeah, if it's even that expensive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other main
Well,
ones.
you get admission to all Cedar Fair parks.
Yep, admission to all Cedar Fair parks, parking included. You just show
And
your
you
employee
also
ID.
get admission, specific Cedar Fair parks. You get admission to other parks as well, like
Yeah. They have agreements
like
with non-Cedar Fair
Dollywood.
parks.
Yeah. Every year I worked
Hershey.
there.
I remember Hershey and stuff.
Yep, every year I worked there. Dollywood and Hershey were on there. You get a lot of other.
Too.
You get a lot of other local discounts for specifically businesses in Sandusky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you get like I can't remember if it was 20% off or something at Toffs, the
Yeah.
actual Toffs
Chet-
ice cream.
I think
Chet
you
and
get
Matt's
20%
does
off
one
all
too.
merchandise too, instead of the 10 with a platinum pass.
You do.
God, what else? Free bus if you live at housing, going back and forth from the park. I don't
And
know
you
if that's
get
like
really
a main
cheap.
point,
You
but
get really cheap housing too if you do
yeah.
have to stay.
Or if you work during holiday weekends, you get free housing.
Right.
Well, that's not always a guarantee. It has been the past couple of years, but it's not always a thing.
Oh, okay. Well, don't count on it, but
Yeah, but other than that, I mean,
They give you a lot of perks.
You do get a lot.
of perks.
yeah, there's a hefty list.
We're probably missing a bunch of them as well.
Yeah, we're probably missing like a very major one.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything else.
I actually have a kind of an off the books perk that probably would only ever work for me, but it did. So the first year I worked at the park in 2018, I scared and hexed lights out. At the end of the season, you have to turn in your employee ID. Like, that's a deal. You don't get to keep it. So our season ended in October, but I was going to Dollywood that year in December, which we were supposed to get into for free. So we're at the like end of the season party where the general manager and everything speaks, and I pulled Jason McClure aside and I'm like, Jason, can I keep my employee ID until December? Like, I will mail it back to you. I just want to get into Dollywood. And he's like, no, I can't let you do that. He's like, we got to get it back. He's like, but when are you going to Dollywood? And I was like, like third week of December. And he's like, great. Email me when you're going. I'm super good friends with someone that works in their ticket office. I'll set you up.
Ah, nice.
That's awesome.
Jason was the
Jason
best.
McClure was so awesome.
Yeah.
I did remember one big perk that we did forget. You get a bunch of comp tickets if you work a certain amount of hours, and you can give those to
Yes.
friends and family, and
Yeah,
which is
if
kind of cool.
So I can talk more on that. If you are a brand new employee, you get 8 comp tickets, and you get half of them after you work. I think it's like 200 hours, and the other half after like 400 hours or something like that. If you are a
Little
returner,
incentive to stay.
yeah, and then if you're a returner, you get 16 comp tickets, and it's the same hour. It's the same hourage breakdowns, but instead of 4 and 4, you get 8 and 8.
That's a lot of comp tickets. Like, I don't think I know 16 people that don't have a plat or a season pass of any sort.
That is a lot.
That's awesome, though. That's good.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, that adds up too,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Do we want to jump into Carson and I's stories about working?
Yeah, if either of you have fun stories, tell them.
I mean, so I only worked in one fall. So the funniest thing I remember was when I was scaring, because I also we were all scare actors. Working in Erie State, I mean, I had a lot of good scares and a lot of people that made me just, almost fall over laughing and break character and all that. But the one that will always stand out to me was, I didn't even really mean to scare her, but it was like a 7 or 8 year old little girl. And, they're just afraid of somebody in makeup, you don't even have to say boo. And I happened to just I think I said hi to her or something like that. And she looks at me, completely freezes. You could see the gears spinning in her head. Like, what is this thing? And she looks at me for 5 seconds and just quick little jab punch.
Oh,
And then takes off. I mean, I don't know. I probably can't explain it as funny as it was, but I had to go back in the corner and kind of take a deep breath because it was just funny. But it was just a good time scaring the
I
crap
think
out of
mine was probably similar. I was in that really, really dark hallway with my sister that they don't have anymore. The painting that would always change.
Oh
The
yeah,
automated one.
I was so sad that was gone.
Right. And so I was there, and there's a wall literally, and there's a wall, and then you turn and you go into the main dining room or living room. And so I literally scared this guy, and I scared him so much. I literally just came out of the dark, and he literally ran right into that sidewall so hard. I thought he was just going to bust right through the thing. It was so funny. You could hear the wall go, kirk.
Yeah.
It was definitely, I tried not to break character, but we were all laughing. We couldn't, there was
I had
no
a few of them where everybody in the room was laughing, and I'm like, I could break character. This was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows we're all just people. So
that too, but also in the character development, my character was kind of like a smart, a smart ass. And so
so was mine.
I'd be like, oh, you're an idiot, so.
Yeah, I had a lot of good ones just because that's the nature of my character. I was less horrifying and more just I'm gonna make fun of you.
Yeah.
Somebody would come through with the Steelers jersey, and just so happened the Steelers lost that day, and I would just dog on them the entire time. Granted, being Browns fans, that's a little difficult too, but oh yeah. And everybody was always good sports about, being made fun of. We were never mean, mean, but
Oh yeah.
making fun of them for being scared of a 20-year-old dude in makeup.
All in good fun. I do remember scaring the parents, and then the kids would be like, oh, super scared, and I'd be like, okay, fist bumper.
Yeah.
Hey, hi, give them a thumbs up or whatever, and they start giggling and laughing and stuff or whatever, because I got their parents really good. So that was really
also
good.
One of my favorite memories of that year was sitting up in Haunt Central watching football on my laptop while in makeup and all that.
That was
that's
was
a perk
fun.
of working there too.
Yeah,
was getting that nice relaxation time up in Haunt Central before going out and scaring the crap out of
people. Got to wear your makeup, and you can't go out anywhere. But
so take your laptop and watch some football.
There you go. You can watch the Browns
some
lose.
Big games up there. Or we watched Michigan lose too. That was a big deal.
Yeah, that was
fun
for sure.
All right, next question.
All right, Kyle, what's the next question, sir?
We don't have that many. I think we have 2 left. Next is from our friend Kenny, fellow Cedar Point regular. What do you think the worst Cedar Point additions have been since 1970?
I got one for this. I'm ready.
All right,
go for it.
2010 version of Shoot the Rapids.
Okay.
That was. I mean, and it was nothing on the park. I think it was a great decision by the park, a great needed ride. We all want a log flume desperately, but Intamin just struck out terrible. So, good riddance. I didn't think very hard about that one. There's probably other more reasonable answers, but that was the first one that came to my head.
Okay, Kyle.
Man, I was gonna say that one too, but the thing with that one is it wasn't a bad decision. It was a good ride.
It wasn't on the park.
It was a good ride that, I mean, it had some challenges. But once they figured out it worked, it just had an unfortunate accident that no one could have seen coming. Man, I don't know. Do you have one, Carson?
Yeah. I mean, I was going to go with like Space Spiral. I was going to go with Disaster Transport when they enclosed it.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been really, like, if we were like around and, you know, kind of like knew what was going on and stuff, I think we would have really enjoyed it not enclosed.
Yeah.
And how everything just kind
of. We all
like,
love Avalanche, or what is it now? Reptilian at King's Dominion.
Yes. Yes.
And just closing up the midway, like, or the view.
It was
of the
so
lake, like
boxy, just right on the beach and everything.
That building looked terrible.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I definitely missed the ride, but yeah.
I do have a better answer. It's not a single attraction, but much less an entire area of the park, kind of. I'm going to go with Challenge Park.
Okay.
Just because we've proven that we can sprinkle those rides in without the exception of the go-karts and the like skyscraper thing and the mini golf. But like, we can sprinkle these rides in the park and they do fine. But putting together a whole area that was outside of the park and also kind of ugly, that took away from the Soak City parking lot and also kind of had to conform to Soak City. It was just kind of weird, and it always felt like, oh, this is kind of sketchy. Like these, I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't feel like Cedar Point.
No.
And I get what they were doing with that, because I think the whole point of that was, okay, the park closes at 10, but Challenge Park's open till 11. So everybody going back to their hotel can go ride Ripcord or the go-karts for $10 on their way back to the hotel. Or play mini golf.
Yeah, again, I don't think it's a bad idea, because I did those go-karts.
Conceptually, it was right.
Yeah, like I did the go-karts a lot. I did the mini golf a lot. Like, especially when I stayed at the park, because we would camp every year for the 4th of July. We would tow the RV up and camp.
Yeah.
But
so that was probably a blast, and you probably look forward to doing the go-karts and mini golf every night.
It's just where it was on the property.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And the way it was set up, it was not the best.
It could have been also like a big draw for like people to be like, oh, what are those rides over there? And then they go look at those rides over there, and they're like, oh, I didn't even know there was a water park. I didn't even know there was Soak City, when it was called back then.
Yeah, I don't know. Those rides, they weren't temporary because they were permanent, but like, I don't know.
Crazy. Although you got to think though, that was where amusement parks were back then and whatever. Like Kings Island over by Son of Beast had
a lot of pay, but
go-karts.
They were in the park.
No, I don't know.
Having this weird area outside of the park is where they went wrong.
And it wasn't a bad addition. It was just odd. I
know. Well, okay, and thinking of Challenge Park, Vertigo, the weird slingshot ride that they used to have for like half a season before
it collapsed
in the off season. Like, how many people total rode that ride? Maybe like 200.
I would have ridden it.
Oh, I totally would have.
But you didn't.
I wasn't old enough, Kyle.
Jeez.
Gosh.
Yeah, so that's probably up there with one of the worst.
I'd probably say, not really.
Are you settling on Disaster?
No. I'm also gonna say probably Demon Drop, because they haven't done anything with that area, and it's just kind of a gaming area, and then it was a shop, and then it was whatever. They could have still kept the Demon Drop over there.
Okay, so you're saying the addition of.
They could have had Ocean Motion maybe in the front part of that property, and then had Demon Drop still stay there. Yeah. And I still think they would have been able to make it. But
I will agree.
That's the addition of walls there.
I'll agree with Disaster Transport, not because it was a bad ride, because it was a roller coaster, a bobsled coaster, whatever, that suffered from being out in the elements, that benefited from having a box put on it. But trying to theme it and do the storylines and then not taking care of it.
And then keeping up with the theming. Yeah.
That was the bad call. Like, 99.5% of the people that ever rode Disaster Transport would have loved it just as much, whether they had that weird, like, space pirate story or it was just a roller coaster in a dark box.
The space pirate that space pirate story that wasn't well explained at all ever.
Yeah.
It was like, so we're going to Alaska, but then like something went wrong. Not really sure what.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the ride is just a dark ride in a box with like some neon paint.
That was a good question, Kenny, and it made you think. So kudos.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that question a
for
lot. I
sure.
liked it a lot when I read it too.
It was very deep. I liked
Yeah.
it. It's
All
good.
right. We have one more question left from Jamie. And Jamie asks, I'd like to know each of your stories as to why you love Cedar Point and amusement parks in general.
Also, shout out to Jamie because he was the first one to give us a question.
Shout out to Jamie.
Who wants to go first?
Kyle, I don't think you've gone first at all.
Okay, I'll do a brief overview. Amusement parks were always something that my entire family would do together, and it was something that we would all look forward to every summer because we didn't used to go 20, 30 times. We'd get the pass and we would go twice or three times, twice during the summer, once for Halloween weekends. And just like, it was a fun day out. The rides were awesome. You'd have fun with your family. You'd see the shows, and it was just a very fun day. And then once I turned probably like 10, 11, 12, somewhere about there, I was on the computer a lot, so I'd always be on YouTube and like looking at other rides and attractions and stuff. I was like, oh, so there's other parks other than Cedar Point that I can go to that have these things too. And then that's what kind of kicked it off of going to all of these other parks. So
Good stuff.
Yeah, I think I kind of have a similar story. So I didn't have season passes until I think I was in kindergarten, around the time like Max Air and Skyhawk opened. And up until that point, I was actually terrified of rides. I remember, getting progressively taller and all that. So I rode, I think, Iron Dragon first, and then I remember that same season I was going to go ride Disaster Transport, and like it broke down while we were in line, and I was happy about it. Like I was just so like, But then I don't know which ride it was exactly, but something just clicked along the lines there. I think it might have been like Blue Streak or Wildcat when I finally turned 48 inches. Gemini. I remember Gemini being one of my first like, okay, I really like coasters. But yeah, just growing up and like that change of being terrified and then, okay, wait, these are cool. And then like Kyle said, looking at YouTube, and like, I remember for some reason being so fascinated with Laser at Dorney Park. Don't know why. It was such a standard coaster, couple loops. It's a Schwarzkopf, which everybody loves, but I was so fascinated with that, and I was like, I want to travel all over the place and do this. And that's where I am.
I was also afraid of the rides, and then my parents, they were like, hey, listen here, you little shit. They're like, if you don't ride anything new this year, we're not going to get the damn pass again next year. So then that was
But I still want to go.
Yeah, that was the deal. I had to ride one new ride a year to secure that pass for the next year.
And I bet you waited like all season and finally were like,
it would be closing day, and I'd be like, oh shit, I got to get one more in.
I love it. I think for me, pretty much the same as you guys were saying. But I would probably say my family, we would only go once a year or so. And my dad, he was a firefighter, and he would get like discount tickets from his firefighter, like the credit union thing. And so we would always go, and we'd always go with my uncle, and we would like plan out a day, and like the day before I'd always almost get grounded because I'd like act up like crazy and pretend like I was like riding a roller coaster and being all off the wall and stuff and everything. So we'd do that, and then we would go and go to the park and stuff and everything, ride all the rides. I wasn't scared of any of the rides. Like I remember my dad like would always like, you need to grow a little bit bigger. And so, finally I was able to, grow up a little bit bigger to where I could ride all the big rides.
So you were the kid that was always excited to finally be tall enough.
Yeah. I was one of those. And then I was gonna say so once I was big enough, I was like, oh cool, I can ride these rides. So I was like riding the rides and everything. I think one of my favorite things about like Cedar Point back when I was a kid and stuff was the laser show. I think it was really cool. We'd sit
I
down
remember that.
on the midway, they turn off, the Wildcat next to it and the Iron Dragon, and then you'd see the cool lasers and the smoke and all the cool patriotic songs, and just gives you right now, it just gives me like goosebumps.
When we used to go once a year, we always made a point of watching that one time.
Yeah,
with
that
my
was
whole family.
That's such a like those, just the lasers and just everything is just so
That big
nostalgic.
ugly screen in the middle of that midway.
Yeah,
Man.
for sure.
God, the park has changed so much.
And then and then at the end of the day, I'd go home. I'd be like, I have to go to school the next day or whatever. So I go to bed, and then I couldn't go to sleep because I would feel the ride motions, because I'd feel like I'm going up and down. Like if anybody's been like on a boat and you feel like the motions.
I always think whenever I'm in a wave pool for a long time
on a boat or something, I felt those. I felt those like crazy, to where I would get like, not like sick, but I'd start like screaming and crying and being a little baby.
That's when
like,
you were afraid.
Yeah. And then I'd be like, Mom, I don't want to go back. So finally, when I got a season pass and I started driving out there with my grandparents and seeing Millennium Force being constructed and the whole 9 yards, I just fell in love with it. And I mean, I went, a bunch of times, especially when I have a season pass. I'd drag all my friends. I'd tell my friends to get season passes, we'd visit. And then I'd be like, oh, I don't have the motions anymore. Like, I remember, real quick story, I remember Top Thrill Dragster opening day. I got to ride it on Media Day, which was cool. But opening day, brought a bunch of friends with me. They were in my van that I had. It was an Aerostar van. I had a platinum pass, which had, or I'm sorry, I don't know if it was a platinum pass.
It was a max pass.
It was max pass that had a Joe Cool. And if you had the Joe Cool, you can get in like a half hour early or an hour early or something like that. So I was able to get in early, but they didn't have that pass. So I left them in my car.
You're a terrible friend.
So I was like, bye. I didn't know what else to do. I wasn't even 8. Like, I was like 16. I don't even know. Anyway, so I left them in my car. I left them my keys, whatever. And so I went and ride the ride. And then I met up with them after I got off the ride, because they were like finally in the park. Long story short, at the end of the day, like, they finally got to ride too. But long story short, at the end of the day, go back to my car. Guess what doesn't start? My van. They were digging around with everything, making the lights on and everything. Someone left the lights on and killed the battery. Luckily, Cedar Point has like a tow service that does like jumpers and everything. So they just got a quick jump and we were on our way.
That's funny.
Yeah, so
that was karma. That was karma.
Yeah. So I mean, it was fun. Yeah. It's good stuff. So that's a lot of
good memories.
That's why I like Cedar Point. So but yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. That's a good question. I really like that question.
Yeah. Makes you think again.
All right. Okay. So that is the last question that we had given to us, but we also asked you some questions this week, and we're going to answer those too.
We did.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to answer those, and then we're going to kind of just like breeze through some of your comments.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was like a lot of
all
comments.
Those got like 200 comments. But I wish 200 people would have asked us questions. But whatever.
That's all right. That's all right.
I like answering questions. I like feeling important.
All right. So first up.
So Kyle, you want to kick it?
Yeah. First up, we asked, what's one thing you don't mind paying for while at Cedar Point? Anybody have a good answer?
The drink pass.
Well, you don't pay that like while you're there.
Okay. Drink pass, the meal plan, and fast lane are out. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are all out.
Anything at Sweet Spot.
Ooh. Okay. I would say buying a gift at the gift shop.
Okay.
Buttons,
T-shirt.
Mine would be between. Oh yeah, my two that I would have to decide between would be a button pack or a chocolate covered pretzel or strawberries or something at Sweet Spot.
I mean, you can get both because that's probably both under $10.
$10, yeah, you're right. But one thing.
Sure.
Yeah, one of those
Kyle?
two.
All right, so mine is very clear if you've ever been in my apartment, which Evan you'll see in a couple weeks. But the made to throw posters or any kind of wall art, I don't mind paying for.
I envision when I walk in your apartment just standing there in like awe.
It's like you're almost in a museum. There's like his whole like wall and his bedroom and everything is like all posters.
And then in my room,
and
I have shelves with like little theme parky knickknacks and stuff like that.
And they're like perfectly like centered and aligned, and everything's just perfect. I want to like put one of those posters like just tilted a little bit and see how long it lasts.
Oh, I'll find it right away. Yeah, so this particular question got 328 responses. So we're not going to read through everyone, but the general consensus, Fastlane was up there. The all-season drink pass was up there. A lot of merchandise stuff was up there. So I'm not going to go through like each item, but like just generalized merchandise. And then there were a lot of like individual food items, like the potatoes at Farmhouse, the burgers at Drive-In, taffy from Sweet Spot,
probably elephant ears,
stuff like that. That's about it. And then a lot of people said like Breakers or the campsites, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. If you're wanting to, like I said, at the park, Hotel Breakers is literally right on Cedar Point's doorstep. You don't have to even get in your car to go to the park. You literally could just walk right to the park. You got two different gates, which is really nice.
And then there were a couple people that said the upcharge rides, so like Slingshot and Professor Delbert's.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I didn't ride Slingshot at all this year. I should have.
Yeah, and alcohol was a big one too.
Yeah, I could have saw that one coming.
Nice.
That's funny.
All right.
Who's
next?
So the next one was best place to take pictures in Cedar Point. And mine, and this is, scrolling through the comments, I don't think anybody else said this because it's kind of a weird one, but the sunset view at the Maverick exit looking out towards Vengeance. I have that same picture like 400 times in my phone.
Yeah.
So I would say that one.
That's a good one. I would probably say, well, I'm just going to steal what you got to do, Evan, and the Sunrise Tour.
Yeah, that should be my favorite, but
I mean, seeing the Cedar Point, like seeing the sunset at Cedar Point, and then the next day you see the sunrise on Valraven, on the top of Valraven.
Yup, that was so cool.
Oh, maybe this year. Maybe I'll do it this year.
Splurge. Yeah. Okay, I did find somebody else that agreed with me. Exit of Maverick. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. Do you have any spots?
Yeah, mine was always out on the beach at sunset.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, get the sunset with Magnum? Is that what you're?
Yeah, I like doing that way, and then also walking down a little bit further and getting like Breakers and Gatekeeper and like Raptor and stuff like that with like the hotel in the foreground and all the big rides like towering over it in the background.
I like that.
So I'm actually putting together a puzzle right now that was sold at Hotel Breakers. It's 1,000 pieces. That's literally the view of Breakers, with like Millennium and Dragster and like Windseeker in the background, and it's like a sunset or sunrise photo. It's like a painting though. It's not a real life photo, but it is a really cool puzzle.
Yeah.
Nice.
This wasn't at sunset, but one of my job responsibilities working at the park when I did was aerial photography, drones, stuff like that. And I took I know I've showed you guys before, but it's the picture of like the nice crisp summer day with the puffy clouds and like everything from Gatekeeper over to Maverick with the beach. It's so good. So that is my favorite spot. I'm going to try to. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that one. Yep.
It's a great shot.
Yeah, that is. So just scrolling through the comments, a lot of people just in line for Millennium was one. Just anywhere on the Midway. Let's see, the front gate aiming towards Gatekeeper, the bottom of Vengeance's Hill.
I like the front gate like on a windy day where you can see like the flag blowing like straight out, and you could get like the picture of Gatekeeper centered, and you got the Cedar Point sign.
Oh yeah.
That's a good
inside
one.
of Breakers aiming at the park, I can vouch for that for sure.
I can't wait for the Grand Pavilion because those will be some.
That'll be really good shots.
That'll be really, and also
The Ferris wheel.
Yeah, the giant wheel.
Yeah, yep. Anywhere on the water, like when you do the Coaster Mania cruise.
Ooh, yeah.
The beach, Maverick exit. Yeah, that's what we got in the comments for that. There was 119 comments on that one.
Nice.
All right, Karsten, you got the best food to get at Cedar Point.
Yeah, so best food to get at Cedar Point, I honestly think it could either be like it depends what you're wanting. If you want steak, you go to the Farmhouse. If you want like a Chipotle kind of meal, Mexican, you go to Mesquite's. Or if you want chicken or like seasoned chicken, you go to the Corral. Or if you want pasta, you go to Hugo's. Or if you want barbecue, you go to Backbeat. Like, we don't know that we've got good food until I just started listing all of those. Yeah. Because, like, wow, we have like 5 different things that we can pick from, you know. Yeah. And then obviously you got like your traditional, like your you know, fresh cut fries, and they had that sandwich at the Corral at one time. Remember that? I can't remember what that sandwich was called, but remember we had
the
that
Nashville chicken.
No. This was.
Oh, that was only in 2021. Yeah. Crap. I know.
It was like the Texan or something like that. It was
that giant country fried chicken sandwich with so much bacon and oh god, that was like so diabetes good. On a bun.
But yeah, so those are mine. Do you guys have any places that I didn't mention?
I'm just going. If I had to pick one best food, I mean, I'm actually going to throw a curveball. Not
Farmhouse.
I'm going to say the corn at a Farmhouse.
Ooh, okay.
I honestly, like, I wound up going to Farmhouse so often that
I think 80% of the time I saw you had the corn. So
I decided by the end of the year that I actually go there for the corn, and the steak is like my second. The corn is so good.
It was. It's almost 100 days, boys. 100 days, almost 100 days.
Ooh, so close.
Until we're back there.
Or like 25 for Winter Chill Out.
Okay, fair. You have a countdown of Winter Chill Out? That's crazy.
No, I think Winter Chill Out's the 27th, and it's the 22nd right now. So, something like that. 25.
I was gonna say you're good with math, so there you go. Kyle.
Okay. I'm good at using a calculator.
I have 2 answers because one. Okay, so I used to be Hugo's for me when Hugo's first opened, because lately it's not been as great as when it first opened. Mm-hmm. But consistently, and one that I think is underrated because everyone goes to Farmhouse now, is Backbeat Q.
Okay.
See, I don't like Backbeat.
I love the macaroni and cheese. I love the cornbread. I usually get
mac and cheese.
Get the brisket. That's pretty good. I like the barbecue sauce. Like it checks all my boxes.
Yeah, but Evan, did you have it this year?
Nope.
See, I had it this year, and it was actually really, really. I had it twice, and it was actually both times. It was really good. It was really. I
had a couple of days where I was like, I should finally just go eat at Backbeat, and then I didn't.
You're like, I'm gonna go try those the corn again.
Yep, gotta try it. Make sure it's still good. The place in the water park is really good too. Crystal Rock Cafe.
That's really I think that's where you can get shrimp skewers there too.
Yep, I did, and they are very good.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see what the fans say. A lot of the fans said on the comment, Farmhouse, obviously. They also said like the burnt ends at Backbeat were really, really good.
Mm-hmm. They had those? I thought that was only a Kings Island thing.
No, they had them. They had them during.
You would know if you ever ate there.
Yeah, if you would have eaten there. Panda Express is also another good one if you're wanting, some Chinese food.
I think the Panda in the park is better than the Pandas outside of Cedar Point, like in like shopping malls. And
also, I would say another toss-up would be Chickies and Pete's. Someone said, and then chili cheese fries would be another one. I love Chickies and Pete's and their crab fries because you'd have like whatever seasoning they put on their fries, and then they would give you like cheese dipping sauce
and a crap ton of fries too.
Right, and then we would always eat there when we worked at the park, and we would have the wings. Their wings were really good.
Yep.
A lot of people are saying crab fries. We totally forgot about this. If you want to pay a little bit extra. and get a little bit of Cleveland experience. The Melt's really good, and plus they've got like a really nice bar. You get a lot of drinks. Famous Dave's
And a lot of fun signs in there too.
Famous Dave's. Yeah, there's funnel cakes, elephant ears,
All that good stuff.
a lot
Very
of people are
diverse
saying,
comment section there.
yeah,
Good stuff.
a lot of people are saying like pretzels. Pretzels are good. That like the build pretzels and stuff over
Or-
by Magnum.
That place, I feel like that place like has so much potential. Like they could really go crazy with all the
Mm-hmm.
fillings and stuff.
And then my personal favorite, every once in a while to get it, is the cheese on a stick. Someone said cheese on a stick.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
you can't find that. You can't find that really at every amusement park. A lot of the
Yeah.
other stuff that we're talking about, you can, but cheese on a stick.
Can't get corn ribs
Amazing.
at any other park besides Kings Island.
Right. So, but
All right, on to our last one, I think.
yeah, I think that's about it. We talked about. Oh, you know what? One real quick one. Coasters, the burgers. Hello.
Yeah, those are good.
Coasters this year was phenomenal.
Yep.
So,
All right, we have
What's the
one
last
more, and that is best time of year to visit the park.
Mm.
It's really easy for me, and you guys are not going to agree with it, but it's easy for me.
Okay.
Sundays during Haunt.
I
I know that the outdoor
I'm
mazes
not
aren't
going to
open,
completely disagree with you.
but to me, the best time of year, I was just saying this the other night. I was at Epcot with my girlfriend Ray, and if I can go to the park and wear pants and a light sweatshirt, and it's real like not cold,
Crisp.
but not warm, but like right in that sweet spot, I can walk around, enjoy the fall ambiance.
Yep.
Once 5 o'clock hits, you do a couple houses, and then you got coasters up until the park closes. It gets dark at like 5 o'clock. But that's the best
Yep.
theme park weather to me. And right now we're in that in Florida, and I love it so much.
Yeah, shorts and a sweatshirt is definitely a winner for me. I think not necessarily Sundays during Haunt, but like the first 2 Fridays of Haunt, when it's kind of that same weather, but maybe warmer during the day, and then it gets nice and chilly at night.
The reason I didn't say Fridays is because by the time you get to the park, it's almost dark out. And I love getting there and like seeing the family friendly stuff and like
Okay.
spending the morning, doing stuff. And then, it's getting a little bit colder. The sun's going down. All right, now I can transition and do the scary stuff. On Fridays, that all just
Yeah.
happens at once.
Yeah. I just love the Friday night atmosphere at the park, and probably Thursday night if I ever get to go.
well, I was just say you. I think you definitely stole the time, but I would honestly say, or stole my answer. But I would honestly say, the weekends during summer, like nothing. Like it's cool to just not have to worry. If you're off for the weekend or whatever, and you just go to the park and you just have a good time, and you spend 1-2 o'clock in the morning, and you're getting home like super late, and
Yeah, I
you're
agree
super
with that
sweaty,
too.
and you had like crazy amounts of fun, and I don't know, just the hotness of summer and whatever. But I
You
do
watch the
agree though.
show.
I think fall's definitely my favorite time. But I think in the beginning of fall, so that way I can still wear my shorts.
Yep.
And I could just
Shorts
wear a
and
hoodie.
sweatshirt is number one for me.
Shorts and a hoodie. You're perfect.
Yep.
That's it. That's
See,
it.
I always wear
That's all you-
pants, but I wear pants every day in Florida, so that's just me.
Weirdo.
All right, so our listener survey was very split. A lot
Okay.
of people said summer. A lot of people said early season, and a lot of people said fall. So we didn't really get a definitive winner, but
Yeah.
the people that did say summer, they preferred late summer, like July and August.
I was thinking a lot of people, and I don't know if you can see this, but I was thinking a lot of people were going to say the last couple weeks in August when like the park's still open for daily ops, but like all of Ohio schools are back, and there's like the park is just dead.
Yeah, I'm looking at one right now that says it's from Autumn. She says August, right as school starts, no lines. And then a lot of people say those first couple weeks when the park is open during the week, but school's still in session.
Yeah.
Like
In,
in
like,
May,
May?
the end
Yeah.
of May.
May and then all the way into almost June.
See,
Yeah.
I don't like that time of year because all the field trips are there.
Yeah.
Mhm. A lot of people said on rainy days or when the weather's slated to be bad, because if it's not, then you have the place to yourself.
Yeah, a lot of the times, like they'll call like it's gonna be a rain out, and then like my mom will be like, "Hey, how's the park?" And I'm like, "It's pouring down rain here," and I'm like, "Well, it's sunny over here, so I don't know what's going on." But
Yeah.
So many times I've been at the park and never got a drop of rain, and the second I get on like Cleveland Road, even like down by Castaway Bay, I'm like, the ground's wet here. What?
Yeah.
What?
yeah,
My favorite comment in that whole section was from our friend Kat. She said, November 1st and May 1st, you'll never have a line.
nice.
Fair enough.
I should say that my food comment, I think, was probably the most that got the things. It was like almost 300 comments. So a lot of people like food.
So the best time of the year got 173 comments. The best food got 273. The best place to take a picture got 119. And the thing you wouldn't mind paying for got 321. So that was the most popular.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I feel like people are really opinionated on stuff when it comes to money.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people were like running out on all this food, and I'm like, well, Cedar Point is definitely doing something right, because they've been building food locations and people are noticing and people are having a good time. And
part of what I look forward to is going there and eating.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of things that people need to think of is when they first introduced the meal plan, it was pretty much chicken fingers, hot dogs, and fries, whatever. And then people, I'm sure on the surveys, were complaining and saying, hey, I've got this meal plan that's really expensive, and I don't want to have chicken fingers, fries, and whatever.
Really upped their food game.
We want to have better food selections and more, quote unquote, healthier options. And so the park saw that and decided to, we've got a huge problem. If we want all these people to buy this meal plan and continue to renew with the meal plan, we should up our game. So that's why I think Cedar Point has gone that food route. And I think there's also possibly another reason is possibly they get all these big food establishments, and then they can get rid of the small little stands. And then as soon as you get rid of some of those little stands, you've got more room for expansion for other things.
Yep. I really like what they've done with the food. Really like it. All right.
Yeah, that's it for the rundown. Do we have anything else that we want to talk about right here at the end of the show real quick?
No. I think just that probably our next episode will be Orlando preview.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean,
unless there's some big breaking news between now and then.
We might be able to squeeze one more in, but I wouldn't count on it. It'll probably be Orlando preview.
I don't know, because that preview would be the 16th probably. I want to do that like the night before.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
That'd be a lot of fun.
We'll have to see.
Maybe we'll do one before.
That's about
maybe like the 7th.
Yeah, that's about 3.5 weeks away. That's about 3.5 weeks.
We could possibly
one more.
Maybe there'll be some more information that comes out from Cedar Point with everything, because Winter Chill Out will be coming up here soon, and so they'll release some more news about things.
Yeah, but
so,
I mean, at a certain point, we can't talk anymore about Winter Chill Out. We've said all there is to say.
Until we hopefully go and then say everything.
Yeah. It's
sure.
gonna be like the first 10 episodes where every week was, Dragster did this, Dragster did that.
And then since then it's been new info about Winter Chill Out this year.
Yeah, so we had we had 10 dragsters, and then we had Hollow Weekends is coming. That was a while, and then the season just ended, and now it's Winter Chill Out.
Yep,
for sure.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's all good. I was gonna say, we've been getting a lot of rain here besides the snow that just fell today. The grass is starting to turn green, so I'm like, well, hey,
nice.
Springtime.
Like the park felt like a minute for the park should be opening.
Yeah, on Wednesday when it was 60 degrees.
Yeah, and then Cleveland had to remind us that it's Cleveland.
Yeah,
and Kyle, I don't want to hear it.
I was just gonna say, and then there's me who had to leave the park early to come home and record this.
All I know is that Orlando's average temperature the weekend I'm there is 75, and it's also the driest time of year for Florida. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
You picked a pretty safe weekend. It looked like it was going to rain a little bit today when I was at Magic Kingdom, but it didn't. It was windy though.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Oh yeah.
All
I
right.
guess I didn't really talk about. I rode Splash Mountain today on closing day.
Woo! How was it?
It
How
was
long
good.
was the line?
The line was 220 minutes long.
So 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah. Now, thankfully, I utilized Lightning Lane, so I only waited about 15 minutes. But
Ooh,
Okay. Good stuff.
nice.
it's
So,
it's gonna be weird. I've never known Walt Disney World without Splash Mountain, so it's gonna be weird until
At least it'll still be the same like mechanical ride.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like there's some. I was just on Twitter. There's some loony bats out there right now like protesting and yelling and stuff like that. And like,
Is it really?
yeah, like I don't get that. It's gonna be the same
All right.
thing. I mean, it will
So
still
it's
be a
like
fun flu
Time to
ride.
hop on Diz Twitter.
Yeah,
So it's like Top Thrill Dragster, but with with
yeah.
the
We
new
know a few
formula.
people.
The actual ride is staying. It's just kind of getting reskinned to a different theme. So I don't see a problem with it. But
I don't think we even talked about that. But yeah, Top Thrill Dragster got.
That's
they
like
announced,
old news just because of our recording schedule. It's like, yeah, everybody knows Dragster's opening in 2024. It has
Top
a
Thrill
new
Dragster,
formula.
the reimagined with a new formula is coming in 2024. So
Yep, we talked about it.
well, we'll see if reimagined Top Throw Dragster or reimagined Splash Mountain open first.
ooh,
It'll be the race.
Well, being that it's Disney and there was like 2,000 days between Tron announcement day and
Yeah.
Oh my
Tron opening
God.
day.
It's
I
ridiculous.
think so. Yeah, my money's on Cedar Point.
Yeah.
Put my money on it. But
Nice. Oh man.
All right, it's time to end another week. Like we said, we'll try to squeeze one more in before the Orlando saga, but if not, we'll talk to you then. That's all
Yeah.
I have.
you're
If you
definitely
guys
gonna
have any topics you want us to talk about between now and then,
Yeah.
not want to miss our planning for the Orlando saga because
we're gonna have
that's
Justin
gonna be a
live
mess.
in the flesh.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Can't
All
wait.
right, everybody. Well, take care, and we will talk to you next time. That's it from us. Have a wonderful week. Good night. Take it away, Justin.
Thank you for listening to the Rundown on Fun. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Cedar Fair. As always, be kind to your ride operators, and we will see you on the Midway. Good night.